Goyal Brothers Prakashan welcomes all the participants in the webinar. We are happy to introduce Goyal Brothers Prakashan as one of the leading educational publishing houses in India. For more than 6 decades, we have been engaged in the educational publishing and educational technology business. We publish all types of educational books for the K-12 level in different subjects for CBSE, ICSE, and different state boards of India. The company has been selling about 10 million books every year in more than 25,000 schools in India and abroad. Goyal Brothers Prakashan has been conducting seminars, workshops, and webinars for principals, teachers, educationists, students, and parents on various educational and non-educational topics like change in syllabus, exam pattern, career guidance, parenting, pedagogy, coding classes, usage of technology, cyber security, general awareness program, and many more. We have conducted many hundreds of webinars with about 1 million participants in the last 3 years. The technology arm of Goyal Brothers Prakashan, Bright Tutee provides online digital learning content for the K-12 level in a variety of languages for more than 20 educational boards in all of the major subjects.
Praveen sir, you can share your screen now. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening to all the participants. Goyal Brothers Prakashan would like to welcome you all. Today we have with us Praveen sir, subject matter expert, biology teacher from last 23 years. Am I right, sir?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we welcome you, sir. The platform is all yours now. You can begin the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. On behalf of Goyal Brothers Prakashan, my extended warm welcome to all of you, all the participants. We have a good amount of participants today listening to my webinar on how to prepare for biology semester or term 2 examination. Myself, Praveen, I'm a subject expert of biology. I would like to call as a synonym of biology because the number of expertise of years which I have and being a student past in ICSE long back, I think it's a very good platform where I can help you from where I came as a student, just like many of video. And I will be sharing some of my experiences, how I studied during my grade 10 to achieve that 88%. At that time, it was regarded as a little bit as a superficial platform rank over there. But these days, 94, 96, 98% is not news because many students easily get it, isn't it? So I'm happy that the new generation kids are very much enlightened, excited, and passionate about particularly the science subjects. Here we go, without much delay, into this webinar. So as I have divided into this particular PPT, which I'm going to show you in different sections, because we have a time limit, and then we have to go on some queries from of the parents and students who are actually participating in this webinar. Okay, so good evening and welcome to all of you. This is how I have mapped myself, my program or my webinar for today. What is going to be discussed? First of all, I will tell you a short explanation about the usual trends in the board exam. ICSE board exam. What are the usual trends? What's been seen particularly in sciences, because sciences, when we take, all of his students know that it is an aggregate of physics, chemistry, and biology. It is not like individual specific subject like CBSE, where you study physics, chemistry, biology, environmental education, sports science now been introduced into there. It's not like individual subjects. It's all aggregate together into one science, physics, chemistry, and biology. So what are the trends that we are going to follow? And we have followed all these years, except the last 2 years of pandemic, which have caused a little bit of gap or break in some of these rules, which I will be discussing. The roadmap for success, how to score 90% and above, I have some tips for you, students. The queries I will be welcoming, some very good questions I hope that you people will ask related to biology. The course structure, which all of you know, but I will be just sharing a screen on that, and how we will get to know that the percentage of the syllabus is being divided. And last and not the least, the case studies from the previous exams. All the previous samples, some of these when I checked as an ICSE senior expert of biology, I have seen some frequently asked questions on the topics where more weightages have been given from some chapters. I don't know why, that we have to ask the council itself, but I will tell you, we will discuss with you which are the topics that are, or questions that come from more weightage related chapters. Here we go. First, the usual trends in the board exam. First thing, what I have written, you can see there, every year, as I have observed, one of the science papers is difficult. In 2019, that means in 2020 and 2021, the exams were not being conducted. There were no sit-down exams, as you know. The practicals of the IAs and the predicted grades have been gone from the organization towards the council or the board of ICSE. On basis of that, students were given the marks or the grades. In 2019, it was physics, which was considered to be a bit difficult subject. And before that, it was chemistry. So I can give you two options, something like maybe if you are so fortunate enough, this trend might continue about physics or chemistry, then the students of biology might escape because biology paper will be generally easy, comparatively, isn't it? Easy. And the students who take science, I have seen from my career what those who are good in physics and chemistry, or those who are just average and good. I'm not saying excellent students. In physics and chemistry will be brilliant in biology. Sorry for that internet instability. I will repeat what I said. So physics, chemistry, and biology, when we say, what I was telling you, I'm repeating the point that the students who are performing a little bit average and above in physics and chemistry occasionally do well in biology. I don't know the real psychology behind it, but the students are like that, because if you can study physics and chemistry too good, biology seems to be very easy, because it is not because of subject, it is because of the passion and the hard work the students actually put for the subject. It is not that easy for everyone. Number two, the science marks is average of all three subjects, as I just now told. So to getting 100 in science, I am not saying that it is that difficult, but you can get it. There are students who get 100 in sciences, but to get a perfect 100, it is actually mastering of all the three, isn't it? You have to be good, equally good in physics, chemistry, and biology. So I tell my students when I teach that it's just because you love biology so much, don't give too much of importance to biology only. That can become a big problem to you in future. Because writing 10th board exam, you need to love all the three subjects equally. It is like saying loving your enemy. It is difficult to love the enemy, isn't it? But in sciences, in ICSE board exam, without loving physics and chemistry, you will not get 100. You will not get a 95. So a good student, a boy or a girl who is studying ICSE board, appearing for board exam, if you are seriously looking forward to a 95, 90, and 100 in sciences, you need to be equally good in all the three sciences. Next one, the roadmap to success. What I believe and what I have seen in all these years of teaching in my students, because when I started, it was my ICSE syllabus, which actually made a platform in my career when I taught in Good Shepherd International School, Ooty. So Good Shepherd School has been famous throughout in Asia for the last 35 years. They have that legacy. Before I studied both in ICSE and CBSE till 10th and later on in the CBSE exams. So I know the difference between the two syllabuses. Now I am teaching in Delhi. It's an international school where I teach a foreign syllabus, Cambridge University, where ICSE and IB is being taught. But still, all the books and the things which I deliver, and also when they connect with my ex-students, they always remember about this particular thing from which I collected these 5 points, what they have been doing and what I have told them while I was teaching in Good Shepherd School. Which are these 5 points? Number 1, try to understand the question. Number 1, try to understand the question. Try to understand the question means it's very simple when we say about reaching to the command term. What is being given in the question? Reaching to the command term. What is a command term? The command term in a question means, like, the questions can be of different forms, isn't it? Define, explain, compare, evaluate, narrate, list down, distinguish, differentiate. All these are command terms. You cannot write answer question and distinguish question same. You will lose. Comparison question is different. Comparison means you can pick either similarities or differences, but I prefer, as a faculty of biology, I prefer students should write the differences. Isn't it? It's not about similarity that is being expected all the time. Distinguish, if a question comes, you need to write both similarities and differences between a term or 2 structures or 2 locations in human body or anatomy or a part of a flower or whatever you study. So trying to understand the question, every student should master that. You should have a good textbook. You should have good study guides whom you should refer, which can guide you, which can help you understanding questions, understanding command terms. Second, give an accurate answer. Don't beat around the bush. Students used to add masala, isn't it? Beating around the bush means you don't know the actual core part, what is being expected by the examiner. You don't know. I mean, majority of the students don't know. So instead of answering the accurate thing, they will just, it will be a 2-mark question. They will be expecting 4 points in the answer, but you write a whole big story, an essay, which is completely unwanted. What are the 2 things happen because of that? You are wasting your time, and second thing, you're losing marks. Because when you start an answer, the first question, if it is a 3-marker or 2-marker questions, if you're answering majorly, what will happen there is that you are losing impression in the mind of the examiner. With the examiner, from the first question itself, he or she will get an idea, what kind of a student is this? Instead of writing an accurate thing, what is being asked in the question, you are just beating around the bush because you don't know what to write. You know the entire chapter, but you cannot connect that exact topic to the question. That is a problem. So accuracy of the answer is one of the important roadmap to success. Number 3, try to give point-wise answers. These days, even including me, I don't know. Many of the examiners, they tell when we have a discussion or meeting, when you have a conference, something like that, they always tell, we like bulleted points. We like to see bulleted points from the students, but we don't get much of the bulleted points. I will tell you why. It is connected to point number 2, which I just now told. A student who knows the topic, a student who knows that concept will definitely write in bulleted points. But a student who doesn't know, paragraph, a big paragraph, a whole story with a lot of masala into it. So what is the reason? It's an escape mechanism. Because some students think that if you write a big paragraph, a big structured answer, some of the points some examiners won't look into, won't detail into. So you might get escaped with a 1 mark or 2 mark here and there. But if you write bulleted points, it is very much projected. It is very much projected into the eyes of the examiner. So you will be caught red-handed. It is like that. This is the psychology that works in the students. So you write in a paragraph, you can escape. No, my dear, no. These days, even the examiners are become clever because of this particular trend. Many of the students are doing this in many of the institutions in Asia, wherever the ICSE syllabus is being followed. Sorry to say that. So Third point, very important, try to point-wise answers. Please answer in bulleted points. Whether it is required or not, that is not the thing. Definition you cannot write, isn't it? Definition you cannot write in point-wise. Whenever a 2-marker, 3-marker, 4-marker, 5-marker question is being you're facing with, please give bulleted points. Highlight the keywords, very important. Highlighting the keywords, I have already written in some of the other pages in this PPT itself that how much you make the keywords so protecting and specific, the examiner will be impressed that the student knows what terminology has to be used, which is the right term to this concept, which is the right term for this question, which needs to be highlighted. Next one, even if they have not asked for a diagram, try to explain a question with a diagram too. I know that time limit is there. Some students are bad in time management. Okay, fine. But at least try your best that when you choose some good answers where you are strong at, some students will be strong in human physiology, some students will be strong in genetics, some students will be strong in botany, I mean plant study physiology related to that. Wherever you find your strong areas, at least in those areas, please draw a small diagram very close to it. If you have the margins on your answer paper, onto that very neatly a labeled diagram. Because why? I will tell you, even if your theory is looking bad or your presentation is bad or some points you missed, suppose the examiner will give you marks, at least 1 or 2 marks for a 4-marker or 5-marker question, because the student has drawn the diagram beautifully. The diagram gives an explanation or the idea about the student. So no examiner is going to give you 0. At least a 1 mark or 2 mark you will get over there if you're drawing a diagram. How to score 90% above? Now 90% above is, as I told you, you can try your best. For example, which is your stronger subject? Physics, chemistry, and biology. Some students, all the 3 will be strong. In some students, chemistry and biology might be strong. And in some students, only biology will be strong. Whatever it may be, which is your stronger subject, you need to choose. That is Praveen's opinion, straight from the heart. Okay. Number 2, try to get full in that particular subject, which is strong for you, because you can compensate for the loss in physics or chemistry. So if you're so good in biology, try to get 99, 98 or 100. Try to get full in the subject. So in order to that, how we go about it, these are my personal point of view, which I used to do when I was a student like you in grade 10 ICSE. What I used to do is that I used to make a different list of abbreviations, locations, functions, writing in order and definitions. So I turned to be very easy for me actually when the board exams came, because I used to take that particular register. I don't know where I kept in my home. I have to search for that. It has been a long time. It's been 25 years. So these abbreviations will be like the short form, whichever the short forms are. There will be in biology, if you can see, there are short forms, there are names of scientists, there are names of inventors, isn't it? Locations, functions, structures, many. I will say in the whole 10th ICSE biology textbook, if I take it, nearly 8,000 terms are there. I'm not joking. If you don't know, that means you have not read the appendix. What is appendix? Towards the last 2 pages or 3 pages of your textbook, you will find the glossary of the terms that is being used. And if you make a count of that, it will come nearly 6,000, 8,000 terms. That many terms you are studying till grade 10 of biology. You should be proud of yourself. Seriously. Because that many terms you are remembering. But how to produce that when it comes to exam? That is why you make to have a list of all these things. Majorly the structures, locations, and functions. Then second thing, what I remember is that I made it from the beginning. My schedule was perfect. For example, like I used to filter the subjects because the teachers who taught me, because I'm from Cochin, I basically from Cochin, from Kerala. So the educators were damn good at that time in any stream, if it is CBSE or state board exams. So they used to guide in the way in which we used to catch up with some of the topics which are interesting to us. So like, for example, human physiology was the most preferred topic for many of the students. So thorough study of all these chapters in the first term itself. We never used to keep anything for the second. There were students like that. I never used to do, I don't know. Many of you people might be all doing that. They don't study much in the first year or the first 8 months. They will keep everything towards the last 2 months of study like a mountain. They can take it, some fail in that, but some excel also. But I don't want to guide you in that particular way, that to put everything in a mountain towards the last 2 months, something like. So you should be aware that if you are, making a planning of your progress and how to study and where to study in the first term itself, I think half of the work is done. Just understanding and learning is required. So make sure what you learn, what you study is being very clear and not in the difficult part. Other points regarding from my personal point of view related to how to score 90% and above. Try to solve each and every questions in every textbook. So, for example, we have also followed Goel Brothers books and something like that. I remember at that time itself, because they have been having a legacy of for many years in this ICSE field, in the education field. At that time, books, something like that, your textbooks, what you prefer in your subject area at that particular time, in your particular school, what is being suggested by your teacher, it's all fine for me. But the thing is that whatever exercises is being given, whatever the homework or practice questions is being given, try to do that. Try to solve every question that is possible, particularly from genetics. Okay. Do not follow many of the self-study books. Self-study means that just being diagnosed only your problems and your ability, only your potential. You need to get into the potential of some of the high achievers in the class also. That is how you will excel. It is like only playing club cricket will not make you a national player, isn't it? Like that. You need to indulge in Ranji Trophy or something like that. You need to play for the state. Then only you will excel or qualify for to playing in a national level tournament or something like that. Same way, if you are catering only to your potential, so that is self-study books I don't prefer much. School textbook, whichever textbook that you're following, you should have 100% clear knowledge. Every page you should be reading. You should make a planning of having a good textual reading. That should be a habit. See each and every diagram in the book and exercises. Learn how to label better, because diagram based questions are very common in the paper. Okay, so you definitely get about 5 to 6 to 7 questions in this board exam based on diagram. So don't miss any diagram or don't skip any diagrammatic questions, something like that. And try to get more biology papers. You can ask your teachers. You can search for programs, websites where you can get biology paper samples. At least last 5 years, 6 years. Something like that. 10 years, good, very good, if you can get. Another thing, as I told you about marking the keyword or highlighting the keywords, that is very important tip, which I have to give you in ICSE board exam. I'm not saying take a sketch pen or a color pen and highlighting and all these things. I'm not saying that. If you're doing it, good, because the papers are being valued like that only, the hard copies. It is not like the soft copies that is going. I don't think so like that. Even from our time, it was like that. Use mnemonics and memory tricks. Memory tricks, mnemonics means what? You know, making a short form, like how to study, make some words like mitochondria. Now keep some words, or like HMT, here my tools. So whatever you are studying, if it is for a structure, something like that, make your own abbreviations. Make your own short forms and keep it so that you can remember it. Okay. I know that present century students children are very good in mnemonics and all. LOL, LMAO, ROFL, rolling on the floor, laughing. LOL means laughing out loud. You know that, isn't it? As soon as you see all this, because terms are used in social media, whether in WhatsApp or Instagram and Facebook and all this. So I don't have to teach like that. Make your own short forms and abbreviations that will be good to memorize. Keep revising chapters, definitely. Particularly, as I told you, I repeat the same thing, loving your enemy. It is difficult, but some of the not so favorite chapters also. If you're saying that genetics is very tough for me, Praveen sir, I cannot study that much, or I don't like plant physiology, so I don't give importance to that. Please don't do that. You can select some of the topics maybe and the subject wise after 11th and 12th in university, but not now. You need to love all the chapters equally. So all the some of the chapters which are difficult for you, I will suggest that you should read it more, and you should skip some of the easier chapters. That is still fine for you because that is a stronghold, isn't it? Don't ignore diagrams, I already told you, and don't write too long answers. As majorly in ICSE exams, it will be 1 marker, 2 marker. Short answers are coming a lot in the ICSE exams. So there is no point of writing too much long answers, lengthier answers. You are making your examiner boring, and they will have a negative impression in your paper. Don't think that all examiners are soft, calm, and cool people. Huh? They will be checking nearly 200, 400 papers in 1 week. So they will be very rushy towards your paper. And if they see some of these lengthy, unwanted answers and with bad presentation, they will cut your marks and you will lose your grades. Okay, so unnecessarily don't write too long answers. Don't rely upon guidebooks. As I told you, guidebooks means the self-study books I am talking about, because they majorly don't come to the precise syllabus, which they'll be just chalking out many of the years past samples, something like that. So always concentrate. Now, I know that your classes are over in your schools, but you should have better concentrated in the class, who were focused in the class. You already done 50% of your work. Those students will definitely get better grades, but we are there to help you. Okay. Try to understand the subject, read your textbook thoroughly, mark the keywords, use mnemonics, memory tricks. That's the main thing. I'm repeating it again and again. That is something very important as an ICSE student, which you need to follow it up. Some of the queries which I get often from students when I was teaching, and also when I'm doing some of the online webinars and all these things. These are some of the questions which usually come to me, frequently asked questions. Why not to write too long answers in your examination? The answer is also given. Just write how much is required. Generally, not question requires something more than 3 sentences in ICSE, because all of them, or mostly, will be 1 marker or 2 marker questions. So those who are watching this video, those who are watching this webinar, please understand that nobody is expecting too many long answers in the examination. Okay, so your writing, how you structure the answer, that makes it looking beautiful answer. Concept wise, bulleted points. Some students ask me, sir, you always say that finish 15 minutes before the deadline or the time of the examination. Why I am saying that? Because why to finish early means it is not only about studying to finishing. I'm also saying about while writing the exam also, it is better to finish early, because if you can revise all the chapters more than 3 times means the number of mock exams that we do. I still remember one of the greatest highlights of Good Shepherd School was we used to finish all the topics by November. November of grade 10, we used to finish all the topics. And November, December, January, and February, we had nearly 4 mock exams. Mock exams means model exams. So the more model exams a student write, that student will be equipped, strongly equipped for writing an exam, will be more confident. Not only about confidence, the student will be exposed to many questions, isn't it? 4 revision exams, 4 trials exam, the student has already done. So the student has more amount of questions. So from that, at least 40% or 50% you can definitely expect in the board exam. So that is why we always used to get good success percentage in the grade 10 exams. So finishing early is not only about studying, good if you are studying like that, but also revision has to happen along with the exams. And while writing exams also, please finish 10-12 minutes before the timeline. Try to be fast so that you will get more time to check on what you have written, anything missed, any terminologies. You can highlight the keywords as I told you. So you are getting some time for that. Course structure, when we divide, you know that the course structure is being divided. Semester 1 and semester 2, both the semesters grades are important for you to seek admissions in university or in grade 11 and 12. So when we divide them into basic biology and the plant physiology and human anatomy and physiology, all the three carries equal weightages. Don't differentiate that human anatomy and physiology because it is too big, or is it because human physiology examiners are going to put more questions into that. That is just a myth. That is wrong. Okay. Actually, I have seen 1 and 2. It is from more questions are coming. I don't know why. Even in other syllabus in CBSE and IB also, in which I teach, also human physiology is being given less importance. I don't know why, but the weightage has been given 23%. So that many questions they have to definitely ask. But compared to plant physiology and basic biology, which many students skip it or miss it, then you are going to face a serious issue in the exam. So please don't do that. All the three give equal importance. Case studies. Now, these are the things which I have seen in the question papers. In the last 10 years samples, if you check that, functions of glands are being questioned many times. Glands, endocrine system. So endocrine system, nervous system, some of the chapters from human physiology has been asked, particularly location and function. Every year they are asking this question. Don't go for extra answer, something like that. Make a list, make a chart, which is easily there, right in front of your study table in your home. Make a chart of all the glands and the hormones that they're producing. Same way like the nervous system. When you make a part, something like that, it's always good to have some charts and pictures right in front of your study table. Every day you are seeing it. So every day it is registering in your brain. So in the time, the examination hall, when you get it, you will never forget. You just think of your home, your room, the answer will come to you. Take my word. Read the chapter Aids to Health and Health Organizations. Usually students skip this particular thing, saying that it is very easy. You don't see much weightage has been coming from this particular chapter, but they have been asked every year. 2-3 questions are coming from this, even population chapter. Terms, there are so many simple terms which students you might forget, because of which I'm saying that practice diagrams also some of these terms from these chapters. Okay. Other case studies regarding genetics, definitely always you can expect Mendelian loss of mental inheritance, and also monohybrid dihybrid cross. One question surely going to come. Surely going to come. Every year they ask one cross, monohybrid cross to be made, finding genotype and phenotype. Genetics question. Okay. Drawing wise, I have seen some of the, when I'm checking papers, chromosomes, how they draw. It's very bad. It's actually a shame for a student when they draw like a butterfly or something like that. That's why the same thing I have put it in the PPT when I made this PPT. That means you will lose marks if you draw like that. The chromosomes have to be properly dumbbell shaped, in which you have to show the centromere and everything. Matter has to be very clear. Detailing has to be clear. Spellings have to be clear. Don't change the meaning or the terms in which. Okay. And many students, even they're told after exam, there is no point of crying after the exam, isn't it? Sir, I didn't study pollution. I thought that it will be easy, but some of the tough questions came from that topic. So don't skip that, because these days, 21st century, we are more dealing with the global warming, greenhouse effect, pollution all over India, and climate changes and all. Examiners always put some questions related to this from that particular unit. Okay. So you should have a very good clear-cut idea about these chapters. I hope many of the things, the worries and the questions that you people had in your mind, I hope I have cleared it. Any more questions or any suggestions that I would like to hear from any one of you in this webinar, please go and ask. I'm waiting. Thank you.
Yes, so we can take question answers in the chat box.
Sure. Anybody is welcome to put any question in the chat box.
Blueprint for bio. Sir, I think there has been some information which says aids to health organization.
Yeah.
Station is not there in present syllabus.
Oh, in the present syllabus. Okay, okay. The syllabus that's
On to
been
class
revised
9.
after pandemic. Yeah, there have been some changes which has been happened. Yeah. Pollution and genetics also out.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
then,
please correct.
then I think the students are lucky enough, I will say. Your half of the workload has been over.
Yes. Any other questions or?
Okay, Angelina is asking a very good question. How to make a timetable for revision, any pattern to be followed? Yes, timetable for revision. If you're asking for, I used to make students a timetable, because some of the students, and not for everyone, some of the students who are come to me in a very very sad crying situation. Please, I cannot work with any timetable which I am putting, something like that. So I used to give for all the subjects. It is like, as I told in the beginning, that you need to identify which are your stronger subject. Some students, mathematics will be very strong, some English, some sciences. I have not seen much students who are both good in biology and mathematics. I have never seen much, very less. I will say 5% every year, only students who are good both in mathematics and biology. So I will say a timetable which should be followed. That means tough subjects should be given at least 2 days a week or 3 days a week. That should be the way you make a timetable. And the subject which is a cakewalk for you, very easy for you, just give 1 day or 2 hours in a week, because you are already strong in that. You don't have to waste so much of time in that subject, because that subject is too good for you, isn't it? So a revision timetable will be very good. And I will say, now your exams, even the mock exams might be over. You will be looking forward for the exam. So I will say minimum, if you are getting a full day at home, a 6 to 8 hours studying. A student who is wishing to score 90 plus, the success mantra is to study at home 6 to 8 hours. The students, you might be thinking that it is a difficult task. Oh my God, how I am going to study 6 to 8 hours in a day? But you have to. If you're seriously wishing for 90 plus and above, that is it. 1 or 2 hours will get you only 60%.
Yes, sir. Sir, is there there's a question which says in sense organ, is it included in semester 2?
Which one?
Sense organ.
Sense organs, nervous system. Yes, it is coming in term 2.
Okay.
It is included. And it has got a good weightage.
One question is there: can the students attend extra questions? For example, writing 4 instead of 3.
Extra questions.
It will be
Yes, definitely. That is.
How it will be evaluated.
I forgot to put that in the query. That is also some frequently asked question. I will tell you. Choose the questions which are so easy for you. When you get the question paper and when you see that, just within 1 minute you will get to know. This I know. You tick mark. You take your pen and tick mark which is your stronghold of that that question. That means even in your sleep you can answer the question from that chapter. There will be some questions like that, isn't it? Tick mark that. If you want to revise to other questions, there are, for example, if 6 questions are asked, only 6 questions will be there, and you will be allowed to choose any 4. Okay, or in case any 3, something like that. There is no problem in answering an extra question, but as a student, you should be very careful about the time management, number 1. Second thing is that how could you write, whether the 4 questions or 5 questions or 6 questions or the 3 questions, the examiner is going only to take the best 3. Okay, so in the present scenario, Praveen sir will not suggest you to waste your time on an extra question which you are just gambling upon. Don't do that. I will tell you, if I'm in your shoes, I will think about checking the stronghold, major areas, which question you have to appear, you have to write the best of it. Utilize the best time out of it and don't lose marks, a single mark for those 3. There is no problem in writing extra, but there is a danger line over here in the form of time management. How many points should be written for 2-mark question? Somebody is asking that question. Only 2 points are enough here. 2 marks, 2 points. Yes, 2 marks, 2 points. Definitely. But I've also seen some examiners who are liking students' answers with examples. Even if, as I told you about diagram earlier, even if example is not being asked, and my dear, if you know the answer, if you know an example, what is the big problem in writing it? Just write an example. It will create an impression and you will not lose any marks. And the next questions which the examiner is going to check, the examiner already have an idea. This student is a bio student, a real bio student. That will be the way in which that examiner is going to check your next answers. But if you write the blunder same way, opposite, if you write blunders in the beginning, the same impression in which will be the examiner will be checking the next answers. Learning by writing and checking, will it help, sir? Yes, yes, definitely. That's a good question, Angelina. Learning by writing. I always tell it is not only for slow learners, but by writing, when you write, of course, it's a painful thing. But at least 5 times when you write, you don't have to read it again. That is something. Have you noticed something like to-do list? Suppose, Angelina, you are going somewhere or you are going for shopping. Okay. You are making a list, groceries, shopping. You made some 10, 20 items. But at the time of shopping, when you just begin to travel, you wrote that very decently, very passionately, you made the list. But you forgot to take the list. You reach the shop, the supermarket, but you will remember. Take my word. You will remember every single item you have written in the list. Why? Because you have written it. Nobody else has written it. You have written it. So when you reach the shop, even if you forget the list, you will remember it. That should be a lesson for you over here. That's a good question. That means, so that is one-time writing, isn't it? Grocery list, one time you wrote. Just imagine if you're writing 5 times a question answer, how much able you will be recollecting, isn't it? Next question, is it too right to draw diagrams in questions relating with diagram matters such as sense organs, but not asking to draw? I already told you, yeah, it is right. There is no problem. There is always a space for drawing diagrams. Even if it is not asked, please draw the diagram so that it should be very clear. The concept is being clear. If you miss some concepts, because of the time limit or something like that, if you miss, but it is there in the diagram, the examiner will give mark. Because even a theory is short, they will understand that maybe something or the other, some reason the student couldn't complete it, but the diagram is there. Inko mark de dete. So they will give mark something. It has happened. I have seen.
Sir, can you give marks weightage for each chapter? Please suggest us to choose the best important chapters.
Okay, the important chapters definitely, I have not prepared that particular slide for that, but plant physiology definitely, and whichever contains ecology, as I told you, they are being asked, they are being contain a weightage of nearly 43% weightage. That's a lot. Human physiology comes next. If when, as you said, pollution and genetics, if it is out of syllabus for semester 2, they are going to definitely pick up on human physiology. So 37% of weightage will directly go, because pollution and genetics, if when avoided, a 37% weightage directly goes to human physiology. So these are the main things. And in human system, excretory system stands out. Excretory, reproductive, and the nervous system, as you told. These are the 3 chapters which stands out in any exam with more questions. So that definitely relates with more weightage. Yes, Mr. Sumit.
Yes, sir. Sumit Roy, sir, want to say something?
Yes, Mr. Sumit Roy, you can go on. Please ask. Thank you.
Sir, please.
Sir, as far as the syllabus goes, reproductive system is not there in the second semester.
Reproductive system is not there in the syllabus.
Exactly, sir.
Okay. Reproductive system is being avoided, I think, is majorly because of the bulk of the chapter, because it comes as a
Only 5 chapters are there. Circulatory, excretory, nervous system, sense organ, and endocrine system.
yeah.
These are
So
the 5
sense organ
chapters.
system.
8 into 5. Actually, we have got 8 remarks from each chapter. 5 chapters are there. 8 5s are 40. Like this way.
Okay. So majorly, I think they have taken something like what you can call.
Per chapter weightage is about 8 marks, sir.
Yeah, that is what even I am thinking about. Even I am thinking about the same thing. That means how this particular weightage is being taken when the big chapters are being avoided in such a way when, like for example, the bulk of the weightage of sense organs, I will say, then it goes to definitely what you call excretory system, circulatory system. This is what I'm thinking. Because if reproductive system is being avoided, because that's a big chapter, as I told you, it's a bulk of a chapter. That weightage has to be given to some other. The circulatory system, if you check, I can vouch for it. If you take the past 5 years samples, you won't see much about the question from circulatory system. But definitely in 2012 to 15, heart diagram, drawing the internal structure of heart has been asked regularly in all those years for 5 years. Then they stopped for the next 2-3 years. But brain, eye, ear, they all came, which I can remember. Then, yes, nephron. Some textbooks prefer that nephron is not to be studied in detail, but actually it needs to be studied because students need to study the theory behind it. Yes, Mr. Narendra Singh. Textbook back exercise question and answer is enough, sir. Yes, Angelina. That's a very good point, what you're asking. Yes. That is the one which I told you before. You need to revise every single practice questions in the textbook. So in the back of the thing, that is actually will guide you to be one of the best students. Because the more you solve the question, you are becoming an expert in the subject. You can take the help from the teacher. Mr. Narendra Singh Rana, I am waiting for your question. You can go on. Okay, I think there is some internet issue. There is a question from Chitranshu Jain. Will the flow of blood be given in paper so as to know for systole or diastole? It depends on the question, Chitranshu. I cannot guarantee you that. It will depend on the question, because if they want to know the student to be checked about the pathway of blood circulation, they will not give you the flow chart in the question paper. You have to draw it for yourself. Otherwise, for double circulation, questions like double circulation or compare systole and diastole, they will definitely give you, but the chances are less. Why you have to go like that, thinking, imagining about that? Study that. Blood flow is easy. Just always remember, starting from right auricle. Whenever you mark labeling, start from the right auricle and end in the left ventricle. If you start from the right auricle, every chamber is going to be in exact position. Don't worry. Any more questions?
Yes, sir. I think we have covered almost everything.
Yes.
We are not able to unmute Narendra, sir. I don't know what the issue is.
Okay.
Some network issues, I think. So
There's
you can
another
write it down
person.
in the chat box if you have any query.
Correct. You're welcome, Angelina. Thank you. All the people in the audience, you're doing very good audience. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So with this, sir, we will. Narendra sir is asking. Paper is set for 60 marks. We have 2 optional questions.
Yes. There will be only 2 questions. So when this has been avoided, actually, it has been 4 questions which student had to do. Then they cut it down to 3. And if the total aggregate is been coming down to 60, then there will be only 2 questions which you have to answer. Yes.
Right.
Any questions?
Yes, sir. I think we have covered almost everything now.
Thank you.
So weightage is on average 10 marks per chapter. This is what
Yes.
Narendra sir
Yes.
is. Right. Yes, sir. Right. All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the participants who were present here. And special thanks to you, sir,
Thank
for
you.
this session.